Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make some clay beaks for your needle felted birds. Super easy technique, so you'll soon be able to make them. You can make them in all different shapes, sizes or colours, whatever you need for your needle felting birds. Nice and simple. The only things you're going to need is some kind of clay. So I've picked my Fimo soft clay and that's my favourite one to use. This one needs baking in the oven. It says 110 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, but you'll need to check the packaging of the one that you use just to make sure you know how long it needs to be in the oven for. Or obviously you can use silk clay, which is just an air drying clay, which doesn't need to go in the oven at all. Okay, so you'll need your clay. You're also going to need some wire. I've got super simple garden wire, easy as that. Look, this one just happens to come from Asda, but you can get them from most sort of DIY or supermarkets, especially in the summer. All right, nice and easy. The other thing you'll need is the round nose pliers. Really good for bending, which is what we're going to be doing in a minute, a little bit bending of the wire, and I've got the bit here that will help me to cut the wire as well. I've also got my craft knife. You can use any knife you like as long as it's sharp enough to cut through the clay. You could also use scissors if you really wanted to. You just have to spend a bit of time making sure everything is reshaped. So craft knife, and you will be able to create tiny little beaks for your little needle felted birds, or slightly larger ones like for my larger robin. Hopefully you can see my hands a little bit better. I've just been softening up the clay that I'm going to be using. Remember, I'm using my Fimo soft clay, so I'm just softening that up a little bit, making it a little bit easier for us to use. Okay, so I'm just going to get myself some wire first. So obviously this is where you need your wire cutters. Okay, so I like to go for about 2 inches maybe. It doesn't really matter, but I find it easier just to work with a longer bit and then cut it down once it's been in the oven. So I'm just going to get a few, keep me going. So I've got 3 of those. Okay, excellent. And then I'm just going to bend the end with my bit at the end of my pliers, and that just means that when we pop it into the beaks, then it's not going to wriggle itself out again. It's going to be well and truly stuck inside. Okay, so I've got 3 prepared and ready to go. Excellent. So that's all you need your pliers for. If you bake your beaks and you need to cut your wires down later, then we can do that with your pliers. Okay, so I'm just, like I said, softening this out a little bit out the way. Now I've got one of these nice plastic mats. If you're working on something plastic, it's really nice to work with. Sometimes I just work on my tablecloth. It's a plastic vinyl tablecloth. That works quite well as well. And I just rolling out the first part. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's completely pointed here because we're going to do a little bit more rolling in a minute. So I don't worry about that bit till the end. And then I decide whereabouts I want, how big I want my beak to be. And I'm going to cut it with my craft knife. Super careful with the craft knife, obviously. And then I'm just going to round out the bottom a little bit. And I find it easier to do this flat on the mat or whatever you're working on. So he's got a nice flat base here. Okay, now what happens is when you push your wire in, obviously that does change that bit a little bit. So we're just going to push it in nice and slowly. There we go. So that's the first part done. And then if you roll again, you'll get rid of all your finger marks. You'll be able to create a little bit more of a point if that's what you're after. And get it a little bit more smoother. Now it just depends how pointy you want it. I'm going to make mine a little bit pointier. Okay, so then I've got my beak. Sometimes the base bit here just comes out a little bit, but you can reshape in that nice and easy. Just reshaping it with the top of your finger. A little bit of this, get rid of any finger marks. And that's my first beak, nice and easy. Obviously you can do any size, any colour you like. Okay, so that would go on a nice robin, which is quite good. So I'll make another one just so you can see it for a second time. So I'm just softening the clay again. And then I'm going to roll out on my mat. Remember, we're not completely forming it to start with, because we know that we're going to do a little bit more rolling once it's on the wire. I'm then going to grab my craft knife again and cut it where I want it. I'm going to go here, pop that out of the way. I'm going to reshape in the bottom by putting it flat on the mat. Get the size I want. I'm then going to grab another piece of wire and I'm popping it in nice and slowly. Excellent. And then I'm reshaping just on the mat, creating a point if I need to, if I want to, and then I can go round really gently on my mat this time, because I'm just trying to get rid of my finger marks. Really nice and gently. And there's a second one done. Again, slightly different. They both look slightly different, but that is the beauty of handmade, isn't it? So you can make any size, any shape you need to. And then I'm going to bake mine in my oven, and mine says 110 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. Just be super careful that you're not burning your clay, so it really does need to be at a low temperature. Okay, and keep checking it. And it's as easy as that. So you can make your beaks as detailed as you like. If you want to put nostrils on your beaks, you could use the end of an awl, push in for your nostrils. You can use the sharp end to draw a line all the way around as if he had the opening to his beak. Or you could use a cocktail stick, something like that, but you can make them as detailed or as basic as you like. They do look fabulous. To mount them, to put them onto your birds, all you'll need to use is an awl. Okay, so me personally, I cut down my wire so I haven't got too much to push in. I would use my awl to make a hole where I'm going to insert the beak. I then put a dab of glue on the end or around the wire, and then also on this part of the beak here, so that when I push it in, everything is going to stay in place. All right, just give it some time to dry. It's as easy as that. Okay, nice and easy beaks. Happy felting, everyone.